The story of Pete the PRT actually begins right down this road a little bit at Oliverio's restaurant, and it was the most productive working lunch that I'd ever been a part of.
The idea for Pete came from a meeting that we had with Carolyn Curry at Oliverio's restaurant, and we were trying to come up with ideas for new spots.
Carolyn Curry at the time was the VP in charge of us, and she had called a meeting with me and Murph and Ray. Scott was there, John Duall was there, and we just talked about the next 2 or 3 projects that were coming up. And those projects turned out to be pretty lucrative for everybody, because Ray was in charge of doing the profile spots, which I think he won an award for. Murph did the 12-foot statue of the Mountaineer, which did good for him. And my project was they needed something for the visitor center for kids when they brought tours in, and Carolyn suggested, let's do something with the PRT. Murph immediately said, Pete the PRT. Just, it came out of his mouth that fast.
It's just something that I kind of threw out, and we were looking for a different way of showing off the university, and I thought that might work.
It stuck at that moment. So at the time they wanted to just have lunch boxes and posters and coloring books and stuff like that, but my part of it was to come up with this little animated sequence. Carolyn,
of course, laughed with the Carolyn laugh that we all know, and so I kind of figured it might be a go.
The very first thing we had to do was write a script, and Murph and I put something together, and we had our great friend Ross to touch it up with us a little bit, and then we had to record the voices. So we needed 2 characters. One would be the mom, one would be Pete, obviously.
Carolyn Curry did the voice of the mother, and Evan Stolniker, Brad's son, did the voice of Pete, the first Pete. And of course, E.P. GIORCELLI, one of our engineers at the time, did the voice of Pete's father, which kind of makes sense.
Hey, little buddy.
Carolyn was pretty incredible. I mean, she probably should be doing voiceovers. It kind of makes sense that Carolyn would do a good job, because I believe her uncle is Dom DeLuise. So you might wonder where she got part of that personality. That's probably where it came from.
So my son was probably about 6 or 7 at the time, and his voice fit the little kid sounding that we were looking for. And we brought him in, and he did a great job. It took him a little while, as anybody, when you ask him to sit in front of a microphone, it's real hard. But I got tickled when he really got into it. We was coaching him along, and he was really acting and really getting into the part there.
Woohoo! Yippee! Touchdown, West Virginia!
One more time. Touchdown, West Virginia.
Touchdown, West Virginia. Woohoo! Yippee! Touchdown, West Virginia.
One more time.
Woohoo! Yippee! Touchdown, West Virginia.
We decided to have Carolyn Curry do the mom part because she had this crazy laugh. She was very busy at the time, so we had Lisa, our receptionist, come in and do a scratch track while we could still work on it and build the project. And then we kept trying to get Carolyn to schedule in and come and do it. Well, in the meantime, her husband got another job in Delaware, but she really liked the project, and she was backing us, and she said, no, I'll do it. Every day she kept saying, well, I can't come today, but how about the next day? Well, finally, she worked in the morning and was leaving at lunchtime right to Delaware, but she came in on her way at lunchtime before she headed out to Delaware to do her part. And I always thought that was pretty cool that she would help us out that much, and right to the end she was right there with us recording her part. And she never really laughed like we wanted her to, but during the outtakes and stuff she did laugh, and that's the one we used actually in the spot.
She came on her last day?
Yeah, she's on her way to Delaware.
Oh, she recorded the voice?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Then somewhere along the line we had to make a second one. I can't remember what, it was about football. That's the only thing. We decided to do one with football and around campus. No, it was about going around campus.
Then we decided to do a 30-second spot for air. And I believe the first one was football. The idea was we'd do football and basketball. And we went and shot practice early in the season and shot practice to do the background plate for Pete to run onto the field. And then eventually you had to get Rich Rodriguez to come down on the field for it took him longer to walk down to the field from his office than it did to actually be on camera.
Coach Rod was the coach at the time, so we had him doing his little part on that, and Pete says, "Touchdown, West Virginia."
And we intended to go shoot one to make a version at basketball. So we would have had to have gotten Coach Beeline. Obviously, neither of them are here now, so I don't know if appearing in this spot had anything to do with them leaving. I don't know. Something. I don't know. Who knows?
We got Evan back on that one. The next year we recorded his voice, but since Carolyn was gone, we had to get someone else to do the mom part.
The voice of the mother, since Carolyn Curry left, is Gina Dahlia, who teaches here at the School of Journalism. And again, she is absolutely incredible. Carolyn and Gina both created the kind of mother that you always hear in grocery stores and at the mall, yelling at their children, but lovingly yelling at their children.
Now at this time, my son was probably 12 or 13, because this was a long process over many, many years. And he, all of a sudden, at 12 or 13, his voice was much deeper now, and he really kind of lost the part because he couldn't talk like Pete the PRT anymore. So we had to find somebody else to do it. Well, we have a budding star in our midst. John Duall's son, Hunter, was up for the challenge, so we brought him in. And I don't think if I wouldn't be telling this story, nobody would know the difference, because his voice was just perfect of what we wanted. And but I think we only used, in the third one, it's just all Pete. There's no, we don't have a mom character in that one.
For the second round of spots, we needed new voices because Evan had grown up a little bit and no longer sounded like a little kid. So we ended up getting John Duall, our director's son, Hunter. And Hunter came in and did a great job, did an incredible job. And he is now the new voice of Pete the PRT.
Somewhere along the line, we decided to do a third one. And we really wasn't sure what we were going to do, but one of the vehicles besides the visitor center was also maybe we could get it on the stadium, on the stadium board over at the stadium. And so we decided to do something about sports. And I wrote up 4 scripts that we could use about the stadium. One of them I thought was the funnest, wasn't really that funny, but the funnest one was about how to be a good sport, you know, when you're at the stadium. We only got to the animatic stages on these.
So let's recap. There will be no punching, biting, deflating, or exploding. Thank you for your cooperation.
Well, after Coach Rodriguez left, we obviously had to get a new version with the new coach, Bill Stewart. And same thing, I had told Coach Stewart about it, and he kind of seemed to be into it. And then when we actually got him down on the field, he was just like Rich. He was absolutely even better than Rich in a way, because he was a little more animated.
So we're still on this third one. We're working on the third one. We have that Coach Rod was in it, but since he left, we can't really use his footage anymore, so we had to get the new coach. Coach Stewart is in, and he was gracious enough, and we went out and shot him, and he was hilarious doing his little acting.
He actually was so good that we've ended up expanding spot, because originally we had a hole to fill that was about this big, but his reaction was about this big. So we ended up actually making the spot longer just to accommodate his reaction, which is pretty incredible. And he was very, very happy to do it, and he did a great job. The first version that ran in the Visitor Center was entirely 3D, even though we used elements and photographs of the real world. The cool thing about the 30-second spots is Pete actually interacts with the real world outside, and that was kind of fun. And it's pretty amazing what you can do with just with that light wave program. Yeah, the first version had Pete was entirely 3D. He had the mouth was actually extruded from the body of the car. But the second one, we kind of combined, we actually did combine 2D animation with 3D animation. So you had this, it's more of a cartoon, it's just a totally different look. And it actually is kind of neat. Kind of gives him, I think, more personality.
It's kind of just, I don't know, it's been 4 or 5 years that we've been working on it. It's an ongoing project, and I think it's a cool vehicle. The PRT is something, the actual PRT is something I'm really proud of here at WVU that we have, and it's a cool thing to hype, and it gave us a chance to stretch our wings a little bit with our animation skills and stuff, and we've had a lot of fun doing it, and we hope maybe we can do some more installments of it in the future.
We've kind of not done a lot with Pete lately, but we hope to keep him going, make another series of spots, maybe one including Coach Huggins, or certainly the 2 soccer coaches, Marlon Blanco and Nikki Izzo Brown, because Pete should also play soccer. And we had planned to turn one of the PRT cars into Pete, the cartoon version of Pete. And there had been some talk about making perhaps a little limited edition Pete the PRT lunchbox, which would be a pretty good marketing opportunity, perhaps, we don't know.